Well, hello, everybody. This is Dr. Troy Dukowitz of the Commit and Go podcast, where we encourage you to make big commitments, take big action to create big-ass results in your life and business. Today's topic is this: Shift Happens, the Tale of the Bobcat, Part 1. So here we are. It's a beautiful, glorious Monday at the Dukowitz house, and we started our day with pure excitement. So today is landscaping day, and we have some landscaping that's being done in the front part of our house. And as the morning got going and the boys had just taken off for school, all of a sudden the Bobcat pulls up on the back of a trailer. The workers show up, and it's going to be an exciting day. And as my wife gets home from dropping the boys off at school, we meet with Scott, the landscaper, to go ahead and do a walkthrough. Here's the work that's going to be done. Make sure we're all on the same page. And as a result of this, they have all this rock and dirt and mulch from the existing landscaping that we need a place to put it. They can either haul it away, or per a suggestion of mine and Scott's, maybe we put it in the backyard. Now we have a very, very large 1.5 acres of like woods. It's almost 2 acres actually of woods in our backyard. And there is an area back there where there's a ditch. And basically from runoff and rain, it's actually made this ditch a little bit bigger. And so we had it repaired years ago, and it's time for us to get it repaired yet once again. So the idea was, take this mulch and rock and dirt and put it in there and start to fill the hole up, which is going to help to at least give us some stability back there until we get that work done later this year. And so everybody's on the same page. My wife is ecstatic. She's happy about what we're getting for the landscaping. I'm excited that we're getting the landscaping done in the first place, and the workers are ready to go. It was just a day of pure excitement, folks. And what would then happen, though, definitely was not in the plans. As I'm sitting in my office, which actually when I turn to my left, even right now, I can look outside and I can see the full, beautiful view of our backyard woods and the hot tub and the fun areas that we can run around and play and sled in the wintertime, etc. And I look off to the left and I see a worker standing there, and I also see what looks like a bobcat, which is down in a ditch. Oh yes, my friends, you know exactly where this is going. So as I stand up and walk over to look out the window even more, what had happened is that this bobcat took a nosedive and actually went down into the ditch. And what I would see for the next few minutes are a couple of workers trying like a Dickens to get this thing to get out of the ditch, only making the problem worse. And they kept trying, and you could see the mud and the dirt, and they're just tearing the crap out of my backyard. You can just see them churning and churning, and it's not going anywhere. So they start with plan 2. Plan 2, since they can't seem to get traction to go out, is let's dig. I guess some way, somehow, the logic had it that if they were to dig maybe a ramp, I don't know, they could easily back up, and life is good as we know it. Unfortunately, plan 2 did not work. Then there was plan 3. The owner actually went to rent a bigger bobcat. Hey, does size really matter? Well, we will find out, ladies and gentlemen. So they go and they get a bigger bobcat, and they hook this bobcat up to try to pull out the existing bobcat that is stuck in the ditch, and survey says it did not work. So now they go to the final plan. This one has to work. The final plan is to get a tow truck. Yes, a tow truck. So I've already had 2 bobcats in my yard, and now we are going to have a tow truck literally drive through my yard, backing down into the yard, to be able to put a winch long enough, probably a good 20 yards, to be able to put it down there on the bobcat and pull the bobcat out. If this doesn't work, the only other option I could believe that they might even possibly have is to get a crane or a helicopter. I'm not really sure which one would work. But we're going to go for the tow truck. And as luck, I don't believe in luck, but as time would have it, over a period of time, they were able to finally pull the bobcat out, and it was set free. The bobcat is free, ladies and gentlemen, and they were able to pull the bobcat out. Tow truck takes off. Bobcat comes back up to the front yard. So now it's my turn because I got to go see what's going on. I would later go out there to have a conversation to make sure that everything is taken care of, that my yard is going to be taken care of, that all this stuff that got tore up is going to be taken care of. That's number 1. And number 2, to make sure that we're still on track. Because you know what, folks? This is what happens in life. Shift happens. Periodly. I didn't say shit happens. I said shift happens, because what they had to be able to do was shift. They had to be able to shift and get back on track. They have a timeline. They have other jobs that need to get done, even this week. And so they are planning. Their plan is 2 days here at my house. So they have a timeline. They have work that has to get done. You've been under these crunches before. And so as I went out there and I talked to Scott and his workers, he said, look, we're going to go drop off the other bobcat and we'll come back. Now, I thought this to be peculiar because I thought, wow, wouldn't you want them to keep working while they're here so that they can get stuff done while you're dropping off the bobcat? But then it also hit me. We were closing in on about 3 hours of them trying to get this thing out, that maybe they just needed to create space so they could shift into a different mode. Now think about this, shifting into a different mode. They could have gotten completely upset. And by the way, no one appeared on the outside upset. No one appeared distraught. Nobody appeared off track. In reality, what did they end up doing? They ended up leaving. The two men came back and they have been working at it all day. Now, I literally, before this particular podcast, walked out there just to see how they're going, see how things are, see how they're doing. And they both looked at me with a smile on their face and said, things are going great. Now, many people, including you, would have let this kind of shift affect your day. It would have affected you in one way or another, maybe in your relationships. I know in my past, it would have affected me in my relationships. It would have affected me maybe in my business. Maybe it would have affected my workout. Maybe it would have just affected my work all day. I would have just been off track and not able to get anything done for the rest of the day. But in reality, what they had to do is they had to shift. It was the only choice they had. They have deadlines that have to be met. So they had to shift. And as a result of shifting, I see two men out there who are actually smiling, saying, yeah, man, it's going great. We're right on track. We're getting things done. And they're actually, now I don't know if they're actually having fun as landscapers, so I'm not going to make up that one. But what I do know is that they're getting the work done. They're talking to each other and not talking and wasting time. They're like literally talking while they work. And they're getting stuff done. The question I have for you is, what do you do to shift? Now, what they did, I believe their shift move here was to get in the truck and leave, to go, to reset, to drop off the other bobcat, maybe to get something to eat and come back to work, because I haven't seen him eat all day. So I have to believe that that's exactly what just took place, was that they needed to be able to do that. They needed to be able to shift, to come back, refocus, and identify what needs to get done and get it done. What is your shift move in your life? Because shift happens to all of us. We get thrown off. We have things that don't necessarily go our way. We have things that take longer than we thought it was going to take. This happens to every single one of us every single day of our lives. And what we have to be able to do is we have to be able to identify a way to shift, a way to get back on track. So maybe it's in your workouts and you realize that you're stale and you're just not getting to where you want to go. What do you do to shift yourself to get you to a different frame of mind in your workouts? Maybe it's in your spirituality, in your meditation. Maybe it's a matter of shifting. I will tell you, today, it kind of threw me off. I did a 40-minute, an additional 20-minute meditation on top of the one that I did this morning. Because I just needed to shift to get back into focus after coaching calls today. I needed to shift. I felt it. I knew I was just off. I was not clicking. So that was my shift, was to just meditate and just breathe and be in that moment. And I came out of it focused and ready to work. In our relationships, we need to do this. Instead of taking things out on each other, what is the shift? What is the shift move that you can create in a relationship that is going to help you get back on track, connected to family, connected to spouse, connected to kids, connected, period. And in your business, what is your shift move? What is the move for you that you just shift gears and get back on track? Because shift is going to happen. And which way you shift is up to you. You can shift in the direction of distraction and getting nothing done, which sets a tone for a day, a week, and sometimes a month. Or you can clearly and easily shift in terms of productivity and creating exactly what it is that you want in your life and your business. I'd ask for you to consider the latter today and identify your shift move. That's all I've got for you here today. I am Dr. Troy Dukowitz. Hey, this has been the Commit and Go podcast. If you haven't already, head on over to iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher and rate, review, and even subscribe to this podcast. And if you would, I'd love it if you would, please share this with your friends, family members, or coworkers that you think could benefit from the fire I deliver here weekly, Monday through Friday. And if you haven't already, check out the commitandgo.com page. You head on over there, you're going to get my free time mastery program, and you can check out and get information about me and the whereabouts and what it is that I'm doing to help people just like you create a life of having it all. That's all I've got for you here today. I am Dr. Troy Dukowitz. This has been the Commit and Go podcast, where we encourage you to make big commitments, take big action, and create big ass results in your life and business. We'll hear you next time.